Hello and welcome to Truckers World for another video. I hope you're all doing well out there. Not doing too bad myself. Got some more days work next week, so fingers crossed it continues as I'm on agency, and obviously this time of year it can be difficult getting work on agencies. So I'm quite lucky at the minute where I'm at. I just want to apologise first of all for the video quality. I don't know what it is with my phone at the minute, but the lighting seems to be really affecting the camera. It's not the best phone if I'm honest, but just want to apologise and put it out there. It just looks a little bit hazy for some unknown reason. So today's video we're going to be talking about Banksmen. They're colourful characters, they really are. Banksmen, for new drivers who may not know what they are, they're effectively, they guide you in. So you get different kinds of banksmen. You get banksmen who guide you into the bays, at the rear, and you'll see them giving directions and whatnot. And also banksmen as well also come in a different way where they may well be in a yard and they'll direct you into a yard, because you might have a couple of trucks waiting. They'll direct you into a yard, tell you where to stop, tell you where to stand, etc, etc, etc. Basically the health and safety of the company when it comes to logistics, deliveries and collections. Okay, they are few and far between. I'll be honest, I've not met too many, but I have had my experiences with one or two. And first of all, off the bat, I've got to say this. When I say they are colourful characters, they are what we say like a job's worth. They're the type of guys who, if you're on the shop floor and they feel like they own the company, we've seen them in factories, they feel like they're the supervisors, they run the company, they're in charge of this, all this kind of stuff. Not particular bad guys, just very much of a job's worth. So I'm going to give you my experiences as well, just give you a few tips as well, just when you're dealing with banksmen. Okay, so I've had several experiences. The first one, I was working for a steel delivery company and I went into the yard. And to be fair, it was a funny yard to find actually, but once you're in, there is enough room for an Arctic. It's just kind of tight. I think it's in the Kendall area. Anyway, nice enough guy, but he was, like I say, very job's worth. So I'm waiting at the gate and he's telling me to wait, giving me all the safety instructions, stay in your wagon until I tell you to come out. Okay, that's fair enough by me. And then, when it's time for me to come in, excuse me, this camera is just shocking, isn't it? When it's time to come in, the barrier comes up, and with his finger, he's like that. So he's giving me his finger, and he's telling me where to go. So and then he tells me, right, stop here, pointing down there. So I felt a little bit demeaned by that, if I'm honest, And then starts getting out of the wagon, doing all my stuff, unstrapping, etc, etc. Now, obviously, forklifts come out, and while they're unloading, generally speaking, as a driver, we start doing our straps up, don't we? We start preparing for other stuff. So getting the straps up, putting them away. And before you know it, obviously, this colourful character comes over and he starts saying, well, can you just move over to that one side, please? You don't want to get in the forklift truck's way. I would understand it if the forklift truck was probably about 6 feet away from me, but bear in mind it was round the other side unloading. There was no danger whatsoever. But there you go. And then when he came round the other side, again, just had to quickly get a strap. I was in no danger, but over the top, some of these banksmen, and he came up to me and said, just move again over that way, please. We don't want to get, you don't want to slow him down, do you? And I was like, I've literally just gone there, quickly got the strap, and away I go. It's not like I'm a 90-year-old person struggling and walking slowly. I'm zipping in and out everywhere. I get it, health and safety and whatnot these days. I understand why they have to do it, but again, it's that little bit over the top. Overall, he was a decent guy, and I got friendly with him, and he was fine, but he was just that little bit, every time you pushed it a little bit with him, just think, oh, let's get on the back of the wagon and just quickly get that strap off, put it back up there. He would say, oh, mind out there, you don't want to get hit by the forklift or those bars, even though the bars were, again, like 10 feet away from me at least, just that kind of thing, really. Very straight kind of man, but, like I said, overall quite good. So the next one, experience I had, was at a building site, building big factories, whatever they were doing there, and this banksman didn't speak great English, simple as that. And he told me, and we had a bit of, first of all, we had a bit of difficulty communicating with each other, it just doesn't help. He was quite a young lad as well, so, if I'm honest, I almost felt like someone had just given him the job, No disrespect that way, but that's what it felt. So he told me to park up here next to the left. But then where I was, the stuff was on the left-hand side. So I kept on trying to explain, well, the stuff's on the left-hand side. How are they going to get it? Anyway, back and forth, we're struggling communicating, and finally one of the foremen who was driving the forklift to unload me basically said, just ignore him, he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, he's making life difficult for you. And to be fair, he was right. All this guy told me to do then was just, right, move your vehicle, bring it over to the right, and we'll unload you. And next thing you know, the banksman's coming over saying, you can't move it here, you can't stay here because you'll be blocking the traffic. And next thing you know, the forklift truck driver is having a bit of discussion and saying, look, we need to unload him. You know, so that's an example of someone who's trying to stamp their authority, but yet it's making life hard work. And it did make life hard work. 1 minute he's telling me to go there, then he's telling me to go back over here, and then even when I was manoeuvring the vehicle away, you know, I was backing up and he was telling me, oh, not too far, not too far. And it's like, there's nothing behind me, I need to turn around. Everything's like that health and safety issue with Banksmen. So in the end, I got through it, but he was a difficult character. So, you know, they're my experiences. Other people have more experiences. Banksmen are a little bit like forklift truck drivers when it comes to dealing with them. You know, you do have to be careful. You know, you don't want to be cheeky. You don't want to be high rate with them, because at the end of the day, most banksmen will dictate when you get unloaded, when you enter the yard, for example. You know, especially the first one I went to, you know, he can make you wait if he wants to. He's not going to, you know, realistically, because obviously the company needs the stuff. But, you know, what I would say is obviously treat them with respect. You know, anything that they do say regarding, you know, back away please, go stand over there. No, you know, you want to, for example, start drawing up your curtains, rolling up the straps, and some of them may well say there's a standing area over there, and there was a standing area over there. Some may even go to that extreme and say, can you wait over there, sir, until the vehicle's fully unloaded? You know, at the end of the day, if they're the rules, they're the rules. You've just got to deal with it. You can have a bit of a word with them, you know, maybe a sarcastic word. Okay, you know, I'm sure I won't get any harm if I go over there. You know, just be a bit sarcastic, maybe, you know, to understand the point that it's really not necessary. But overall, be respectful, be nice, because these guys, you know, can sometimes delay you when it comes to getting unloaded and loaded. And just, you know, any kind of comments like that, you know, just think about what their job is. You know, they're basically doing their job. They have to be health and safety conscious. So you just got to let it skim off you, really. You know, sometimes as drivers, we don't like people telling us what to do. It's, you know, it's just because you become almost like your own boss in your wagon. You get used to that, you see. So that's how it works. So yeah, my tips, be respectful. They will be okay, most of them. If you do have some difficulties like I did, then obviously you need to seek further help. At the end of the day, you need to try and explain to them, you know, what you've got, where it is, how it's situated. But at the end of the day, unless they're being extremely difficult, just be respectful back, and I think you'll be fine. Overall, Banksmen, essential part most of the time. Most of the time. It's funny because obviously when the banksmen are backing you in sometimes in bays, you don't often get that, but when you do get that, it's amazing. As drivers, we just don't tend to trust them. We're constantly still looking around, braking and all this. We just don't trust them. I get it. But yeah, they are an essential part of the business. And like I say, most will be okay. So there are my little tips for new existing drivers. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for all the subscribers. Keep them coming. Very, very happy with that. And yes, we'll be making some more videos very shortly. So thank you for watching and keep on trucking.